How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Tesla stock and the overall stock market. So we got the inflation data that we were looking at, and unfortunately the stock market went lower. We're going to be talking about exactly why that happened and also what to expect for the overall stock market for tomorrow. And we're also going to go over and look at some of the important delivery number data that's going to be coming out for Q2 for Tesla. We're going to be talking about why different analysts are cutting their expectations and also what to expect. Can we potentially get a massive surprise with this Tesla Q2 delivery numbers? We're going to be talking about all this important information in this video coming up. As you can see over here, we have Tesla stock down 1.76% to the downside. So we got the inflation data that we were expecting for the month of May. So it went lower, but unfortunately, the stock market didn't react as expected. It actually decided to go to the downside. When you look at the price action that we saw across the board, we have big tech companies that went down: Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, that led the way to the downside. We even had energy sector that participated today. Unfortunately, we sold off to the downside. So let's go over and look at some of the key technical analysis to watch out for the overall stock market. So we are in a bear market territory right now. We're down more than 20%. When you look at history, when we are in a bear market, the average downside move that happens is close to 40%. Right now we're sitting at 20%. So if we continue with this trend, we might potentially be going lower. We tried to bounce back from the lows that we set around 382, and we basically filled the gap and reversed to the downside. And if we can continue, we can retest it again pretty soon. So that is definitely going to be the key price action that we're expecting if we can continue this downward trend to the downside. So also, when you look at Tesla stock, it is behaving just like this stock market. Of course, we are going to be getting this key important delivery numbers for Q2 coming pretty soon. That could be an individual catalyst that Tesla stock might potentially be reacting by itself. But as you can see over here, the same kind of price action that we're seeing with the overall stock market, the same thing happening with Tesla. We had a low that was below around $650 area. We bounced back up again, and then now we are going lower again. So we might potentially be testing the $650 pretty soon if we continue the trend lower. But as I mentioned, we are going to be getting this important Q2 delivery numbers that's going to be coming out pretty soon, and that could be a game changer for Tesla. So let's go over and look at exactly why they might potentially be a big surprise with this Q2 delivery numbers. So as you can see over here, we have a Tesla delivers Model Y long range AWD built in Texas. In this article, they talk about exactly the production that's been going on in Tesla Gigafactory in Austin, Texas. The production, as you see, has not been officially been reported, but they are producing 2,000 to 5,000 units per week. So if Tesla is actually producing these type of volume in their newest location, this new gigafactories that we got in Austin and Berlin, we might potentially get a massive surprise. The main issue that we were faced was because of the lockdown that happened in China. So Giga Shanghai got hit pretty bad, and that's going to be the biggest factory that's going to be having a massive drop when it comes to the production of the vehicles. But if you get a massive surprise with this new gigafactories producing vehicles that we did not know of, that we might potentially be getting a massive surprise for Tesla. So we're going to be watching a detailed breakdown of what to expect, why analysts are cutting their expectations when it comes to the delivery numbers. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to go over and look at exactly what to expect for Tesla stock for tomorrow. Also the overall stock market, we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be going over Bitcoin. It went below $20,000. We're also going to go over and look at what to expect. But first, let's check out the video.
Throughout Wall Street, into this report, we have seen estimates come down across the board.
A few weeks ago, around 304,000 was the estimate, and that's just coming down every day, it's seemingly, with the concern being China, right? So let's take a look at the numbers today alone. We saw from Deutsche Bank, analyst Emmanuel Rosler, known as a Tesla bull, kind of knocking his estimate down around 65,000 vehicles, going to 245K from 310. Again, he's talking about these prolonged COVID shutdowns in China and logistical challenges there. Also Goldman, right? So Mark Delaney there had cut his estimate down to 261K at the end of May. He said that he's seen that we might see in line at 250 is what his downside is right there. And then finally, Wedbush, Dan Ives, of course, Uber bull on Tesla. He's going to 250 from 277. Says anything above 260K will be viewed positively by the street. He's saying that basically June will be ugly and nothing to write home about, but he's looking through for second half. Any kind of demand kind of story there, any kind of positivity there. And it just kind of shows you, like, Saz, I'm a little surprised it took him this long going into this weekend when you might actually get those numbers coming out. So, and we knew this story about a month ago. So it's sort of like just waiting for that, that deadline, that production come. Sure.
It's the 3 and the Y that really account for the majority of the production and deliveries right now for Tesla. But also on the other end of that, it's how many of those orders are actually opting up to a higher package or a higher tier. Do we have any sense of that? And that particularly impacts the profit margins as well for a company in Tesla.
Yeah, if you go on the website and try to order a 3 or a Y, you'll see a delivery date of December or next year. But if you add something like FSD, the full self-driving costs $10,000, it'll come down a few months, right? So they know they're going to optimize those orders that are for higher priced, higher tier Model 3s and Model Ys. And then also today we saw an electric story about how the Giga Texas actually is ramping up pretty fast, 5,000 deliveries per week now. They don't know how long that can be sustained, but they're trying to bridge the gap there with these Q2 numbers. Hopefully, you might see a little surprise there, but it seems like you're going to see around 250K this quarter from 310 the quarter before.
And this is all sort of in line with what we've been hearing from Elon Musk himself, right? That things are going to slow down, that he feels like we're going into recession, and that he's going to have to cut jobs, although he's talking about mostly cutting jobs, interestingly, on the salary and not on the hourly production end. So I wonder if that's going to have to give at some point, too. Yeah,
looking ahead to Q3 and Q4, are you going to see any kind of drop back because of the fact that they're cutting these jobs? And I've heard some jobs are delivery specialists and things like that actually do matter when it comes to fulfilling these orders. So I think that is a concern, but when you start seeing stuff like Giga Texas and Giga Berlin finally coming online, it might recoup some of those losses, and you might see, I think Ives still thinks we're going to still see a 50% CAGR on that growth rate, so 1.4 to 1.5 million this year. So maybe they can actually make it with a slimmed down Tesla.
So now let's talk about what to expect for Tesla stock and the overall stock market, and also for Bitcoin for tomorrow. So let's go over with the Tesla. Let's start with Tesla stock. So Tesla stock sitting at $673. Unfortunately, if you continue the trend, we might potentially be testing the $650. On my previous video, we talked about, can we either go to $650 or $750? Unfortunately, even if we got, a relatively positive inflation number, the stock market really did not like the fact that, consumer spending has gone down. That's not a good sign. And even the job market is actually doing relatively pretty good because jobless claims has gone down to, initial jobless claims has gone down. So the economy is strong, inflation ticking a little bit lower, but the stock market just not really liking what is coming up pretty soon in the future. We have interest rate hikes coming up. We have the Fed quantitative tightening is going to be, we have the Fed quantitative tightening that started in June also. So there is a lot of negative catalysts that are holding the overall stock market. So if we continue to go lower, Tesla stock is going to potentially be going lower too with the overall stock market. But in the short term for tomorrow, we are looking at the $650 price point level as being a support area. If we test it, and we might potentially be just being in the range of $700 to $650 as we end this week, between $700 to $650. So this is going to be the key price point levels that we're watching. For the overall stock market, same thing. We are now in a very, very important price point level that we're watching. If we continue to break down tomorrow, we might test the lows of around 382. So if we break down again, we gap down today, and if we continue to sell off, we might potentially be testing the lows, but that might not happen like as quick as possible. Tomorrow we might rally again back up, but unfortunately the trend, when you look at the overall trend of the stock market from year to date now, we are in a very strong downtrend to the downside. So we'll see if that continues tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. Of course, we also have Bitcoin that broke below $20,000. It started to rally a little bit after it made a low of around $17,500, and we actually might potentially be testing it pretty soon we might break down and potentially capitulate to around $14,000. That's where a lot of people are expecting Bitcoin's low to be, but we'll see if that's going to be happening. But overall, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Tesla Q2 deliveries? Are we going to get a massive surprise? Also, let me know about what you think about inflation, Bitcoin, what the Fed's going to be doing pretty soon. Are they going to be continuously raising interest rates by 75 basis points? Because we saw the inflation for May take lower a little bit. But let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinion. But I'll catch you guys on another video tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.